If you wake up tired, go to bed wired, and feel like your brain has 43 tabs open all the time, it might not just be stress. A big part of it is usually two things: your sleep and your screen habits. And those two are teaming up against your mental health. Hi, I'm Dr. Hafees, rural GP, and I'm talking to you today about an important aspect of sleep and screens and how they affect your mental health. This is a different angle on mental health. I'm not going to give you more quotes, I'm not going to give you positive thinking, but sleep and screens and what they're doing to your brain. Just a quick note, this is just education. This is not personal medical advice. If you're not in a good place or you're having dark thoughts, please talk to your GP or a mental health professional or call a crisis line. Just remember, you don't have to do this alone. Okay, let's get right into it. Let's start with this idea. Sleep is free therapy for your brain. When you sleep well, your mood is steadier, your patience is better, and your anxiety is lower, and your cravings are less. On the contrary, when you sleep badly, you're more reactive, you're more negative, more clingy with sugar and caffeine, more likely to snap at people you care about. You know this. You've actually felt it before. One bad night and the whole world feels harder. Now, just imagine one bad night turned into months of bad nights. This is what a lot of people are living with. And usually they blame their willpower or their personality or just say, I'm just not coping. But often step one is very simple. Fix the stolen sleep. A quick, simple explanation of sleep biology. You don't need all the details, just this much. Deep sleep is where your body repairs itself. And REM sleep, or rapid eye movement sleep, is where your brain sorts emotions and experience and stress. Cut those short with late nights and constant stimulation, and your brain is running on fumes the next day. You cannot out-supplement or out-motivate chronic sleep deprivation. We have to protect sleep just like you would take a medication. And the biggest thief in most bedrooms today is not the mattress. It is the phone and it is the TV screen. Now let's talk about the digital overload. Modern bedtime routine for many people goes like this: dinner, couch, Netflix on, phone in hand, social media, Facebook, news, emails, more scrolling in bed. Bright screen right in front of your eyes. That's blue light that's telling your brain it's daytime. The content on your phone is telling your emotions: panic, argue, compare, worry. You're asking your brain to land a plane while your foot is still on the throttle. And then we wonder why it takes 40 minutes to fall asleep. Why do we wake up at 2 a.m. with racing thoughts? Why do we wake up feeling like we've barely slept, even after 7 or 8 hours in bed? It's not just the hours, it's actually also the quality. Screens smash that quality. Now just imagine this. If I say to you, bed, sleep, bed, sleep, bed, sleep, you're going to associate bed with sleep. But if I say to you, bed, phone, bed, TV, bed, food, bed, Netflix, your brain is actually getting confused. It doesn't actually know that going to bed is associated with sleep. It associates it with all those other things, so it's confused. So there's no surprise that you're actually having trouble falling asleep. And the vicious cycle starts from there. Your late night screens means that you have lighter, you have broken sleep. And from the lighter and broken sleep, you go into the next day feeling tired, feeling more anxious, feeling more negative, and you wake up hungrier. So you end up feeling lousy the next night. Then you reach again for your phone and TV to switch off. But they don't actually switch you off, they just wind you up. Scroll late, sleep worse, mood worse, scroll more. Repeat. This is the loop that we need to break. And you don't actually do that by just instilling guilt, not by saying I'll never touch a phone again, but create a simple rule. Okay, create something called a digital sunset. Let me give you a very practical protocol. Call it concept of a digital sunset routine. Aim for that to be approximately 60 minutes before bed with no junk for your brain. Now, just explaining what that means. So don't do any doom scrolling. I'll just explain what that means. Don't do any doom scrolling. No heavy work emails, no intense news, and no rabbit holes. If you must use a screen, turn the brightness right down. Use night mode or a warm tone and stick to calmer content. But the ideal that you need to set for that last hour is the screens are down and so the brain is down. Use that time to send your nervous system a clear message. The day is over, you're safe now, you can start to power down. Now, just get into some bedroom rules. This is where people lose the battle. Most bedrooms now, they double as an office, a cinema, a newsroom, a gaming zone, and sometimes even a kitchen. Then we are expecting deep restorative sleep in the same space. That's almost next to impossible. It's very hard. So let's again set some simple bedroom. Rule number 1, phone off the pillow. If possible, charge it outside the bedroom. If you can't have it outside the bedroom, at least park it on the other side of the room. Ideally in sleep focus mode so that you only get very critical notifications, or in fact even in flight mode. Rule number 2, bed is only for sleep. So you associate bed, sleep, or sometimes bed, sex. Not for doom scrolling, not for emails, not for arguing with strangers on the internet. Number 3, get an actual alarm clock so that you're not tied to the phone excuse. You don't need to perfect this. You need a clear line that your brain understands. When we lie down on this bed, we are not going to be working, we're not fighting, we're not scrolling, we're not eating. We're just going to use it to power down. So this time actually leaves a gap. So what do you do if you're not scrolling in the last hour? So that's a fair question. So here are some options that you can pick. Read a physical book or an e-ink reader, like a Kindle, set on warm light mode. Do some light stretching. Nothing intense, no weights, just very gentle. Try 5 minutes of slow breathing, like I've described before. Either do box breathing or repetitive inhale exhale routines. And you know what? Have a real conversation with your partner or your kids. Jot down 3 things that you're grateful for, or 3 things that you want to park until tomorrow. You're actually replacing, by doing all this, you're replacing the accidental stimulation with deliberate calming. That's the actual key in all of this. You can also spend that last hour attempting a few different things which are designed for recovery and relaxation. There is routines that you can follow using some audio cues. There is a 15-20 minute routine that you can download of Spotify or Apple Music, which is called the non-sleep deep relaxation, which is just lying down and trying to relax without actually going off to sleep. It's really good as a segue into going to sleep. Now, just to go a little bit deeper, a quick sleep basics cheat sheet. And remember, you don't have to do all of this at once. Just know that there's some targets. Stay awake till the same time every day, within an hour of each other, because the consistency of when you go to sleep actually matters, because your body loves rhythm. It's called a circadian rhythm. Cut off your caffeine. Ideally 12 to 3 o'clock should be your last cup, because sometimes you're sensitive and you actually can't have any caffeine after morning. You actually may not know this, so try to not have caffeine after 12. Create a bedroom environment where it's very lightly lit or dark. It's cool and it's quiet. If you have bright light, it actually wrecks your deep sleep and your REM sleep. And if your mental health is fragile, particularly, you might have a tendency to turn to alcohol. So watch that evening alcohol. Also, look for red flags. If you're snoring loudly, or your partner's told you that you're snoring loudly or stopping breathing at night, or if you've had years of terrible sleep, you may need some help to get this fixed. So go and please speak to your GP. Talk to him about getting a sleep study assessment. And this can also be in isolation or along with chronic insomnia. And remember, you don't have to live with them for the rest of your life. Now, if we flip to the other end, the morning. Most people wake up in the morning and the first thing they do is reach for their phone. They use turning off the alarm routine as an excuse, but then they want to catch up with their overnight notifications, emails, Instagram, and obviously news alerts. That's instant stress. Before you even sat up in bed, you're actually rapidly turning the brain on. So if you humor me, I want to suggest a different start. For the first 10 to 15 minutes after waking, don't touch your phone. Get up, walk around, drink a glass of water. And if you can, and if the weather allows you, step outside for 5 to 10 minutes. Get that 5 or 10 minutes of daylight. If you can't go outside, just stand near a bright window. Morning light is the one thing that tells your brain that it's daytime. It's time to power up. So it actually sets your biological clock. It helps your mood and actually helps you set yourself up for tonight's sleep as well. If you start with your morning phone routine, it's telling your brain immediately, rapidly, panic, compare, react. So your first choice in the morning is very important. You can do light or you can do alerts. Which is it going to be? Now, let's put all of this together. If your mental health has been wobbly, don't just ask, what's wrong with my brain? Also, follow that question with, what are my nights like? What is my screen time like? There is role for you to go and see a counselor or a therapist. You can take some medications prescribed by your GP. You should listen to podcasts. You should read books about this. All of this is useful. But if you're still scrolling until midnight, sleeping badly, and waking up to your phone every day, you're actually just pouring the stress back into the system faster than you can take it off. So I want to give you one simple 1 week challenge. For the next 7 days at night, no doom scrolling for the last 60 minutes before bed. Park the phone away from the pillow. And in the morning, no phone for the first 15 minutes of the day. Get exposed to some daylight in your eyes first thing. That's it. Do this over and over again for 7 days. Don't judge your response by night 1. Judge it by how your body feels and your mood after 1 week. Look at your mood, your patience, your cravings, and your energy. See how it feels after a week. You might actually be very surprised how much of your anxiety and low mood was actually stolen sleep and overstimulation of your brain with screens. And again, if you're really struggling, if you're in that dark tunnel or having really bad thoughts, this routine is not enough by itself. Please make an appointment to go and see your GP. They can help. Please reach out to a counselor or a psychologist or a mental health line. You're not actually a burden. You're not failing. You're actually a normal human being in a noisy world you're trying to cope. Fixing sleep and taming your screen won't solve everything. I understand that. But it's one of the most powerful tools and most ignored tool which forms the foundation of mental health in the modern world. Thank you for watching this episode. Remember, protect your sleep, tame your screens. Your brain will thank you for it. This is Dr. Hafees with FSD Doctor Talks. Until the next episode, thank you. And please put any questions or comments below. Please like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, see you.